If you're watching this right now, I'm assuming that you have enough intelligence to have properly interpreted the title of the video and recognize that it is both true and accurate. And if you've been watching the channel for any length of time, you know that I believe in the right to keep and bear arms. But I keep hearing a lot of people talking and saying that the Second Amendment gives them the right to own whatever kind of gun they want. And that is just absolutely not true and not accurate. And I think it's important to understand that distinction. So we're going to talk about that coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me. And I'm sure from the title, thumbnail, we probably weeded out a few knee-jerk people. And so we're going to start today's video with a Bible verse. The verse of the day is Proverbs 18:13. And in the modern English version it says, "He who answers a matter before he hears it, it is a folly and shame to him." I think that's especially appropriate because I know there's some people probably already cussing me out in the comment section that never even took the time to click on the video. Today's video is sponsored by Hog Holsters. Hog Holsters are made in the USA in Arizona, and they are without a doubt the most comfortable concealable holster I've ever tested. You can save 10% on your order at Hog Holsters by using the coupon code Survival on Purpose, all one word. That's hogholsters.com. Thanks to Hog Holsters for sponsoring today's video. So, we're going to talk about the fact that a lot of people say the Second Amendment gives them the right to buy this gun or own this gun or do what, or to do anything. And my contention is, and I think it's accurate, the reason I made this video is because I think it's important to recognize that the Second Amendment is a document that's part of the Constitution of the United States of America. And it does not give anybody any rights. It does not confer those rights. Governments do not give rights. What the Constitution and the Second Amendment specifically does is protect and basically disallow or prohibit the government from infringing upon those rights which are ours by virtue of being human. Just so I'm not just saying this, myself, let's just go back to the people that wrote that thing, okay? So first of all, the Declaration of Independence was written predominantly by Thomas Jefferson, and this is the very first preamble, the first what I think is the cool part of it anyway. "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed." So even in the Declaration of Independence, it was clear that we have an inalienable rights. Among these are life, and I would say being able to protect your life is included in that, and that governments secure these rights. So they went on, had a war, whooped up on England, and got together, created this constitutional convention to try to create a document which was going to be the basis for the operation of the new government. And I think it's important to recognize that one of the people who was on the Constitutional Convention was a guy named George Mason, and he refused to sign the Constitution at the ratification of the first convention because it did not have a Bill of Rights. But James Madison and other supporters of the Constitution argued that a Bill of Rights wasn't necessary because the government can only exert the powers specified by the Constitution. If you've ever read the Constitution, you know we're way, way, way beyond that now. So let's talk about the Bill of Rights. They decided to add the Bill of Rights because there was just so much pushback. I guess these people had their rights trampled for so long. They wanted some concrete protection that their new government wasn't going to do the same thing that their old one had. The Bill of Rights is the first 10 amendments. So the Second Amendment was one of those. And it says, surely you know this, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So there's been a lot of interpretation about that, militia and this and that. So let's talk about interpretation. Thomas Jefferson wrote this about interpretation. "On every occasion of constitutional interpretation, let us carry ourselves back to the time when the Constitution was adopted, recollect the spirit manifested in the debates, and instead of trying to force what meaning may be squeezed out of the text or invented against it, instead let us conform to the probable one in which it was passed. So what was the probable meaning in which it was passed? So let's see what they said. James Madison, who's credited with writing the Bill of Rights in the first 10 amendments, said this: "The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. A well-regulated militia composed of the body of the people trained to arms is the best and most natural defense of a free country." George Mason, the person who insisted on the Bill of Rights being put in, one of the persons who insisted, said this: "I ask, who are the militia? They consist now of the whole people, except a few public officers." So, in their mind, the government didn't need guns, the people did. We're so off that, so backwards now. So Richard Henry Lee, who was also one of the Constitutional Committee guys, I'm not a historian, said this: "A militia, when properly formed, are in fact the people themselves, and include, according to the past and general usage of all states, all men capable of bearing arms. To preserve liberty, it is essential that the whole body of the people always possess arms." Let's say that again. It is essential that the whole body of people always possess arms. And finally, one more quote for you. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but this one is from St. George Tucker, which is from Blackstone's Commentaries on the Laws of England. Said, "This may be considered as the true palladium of liberty. The right of self-defense is the first law of nature. And in most governments, it has been the study of rules to confine this right within its narrowest limits possible." In most governments, wherever standing armies are kept up and the right of the people to keep and bear arms is, under any color or pretext whatsoever, prohibited, liberty, if not already annihilated, is on the brink of destruction.
Chuck Norris uses a stunt double for crying scenes.
I think that's a good point to close. So when you hear somebody say that the Second Amendment gives them a right, just try to gently correct them and let them know that the Second Amendment does not give rights, because if the government can give you a right, the government can take that right away. But the government does not give us rights. It does not grant us rights. The whole purpose of the Second Amendment and all those amendments and the Constitution is to limit the government and to prohibit the government from infringing upon our rights. So, yes, I believe you should be able to own any firearm you want. If the government has it, we the people should be able to have it. And that's constitutional. So I'll shut up now. I really sincerely appreciate you watching Survival on Purpose. Tomorrow we'll get back to the knife stuff. Remember, survival is not an accident. Neither is liberty. Be prepared. I'll see you next time.